Hi, I'm Liam Gravlin, and this is my capstone presentation. The topic that I chose for my project is the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a trade route that spanned across both Europe and Asia, connecting powers like China to Europe and the Middle East. It created an easy way for goods, services, and ideas to be spread on a global scale. I believe that this system of trade routes helped shape the West into what it is today. It helped the entire continents of both Europe and Asia grow exponentially in a number of ways, those being economically, spiritually, and efficiency. That's why my big idea is the West. I don't think that Western civilization would look the same without the Silk Road, and that, in a way, the Silk Road shaped the Western world into what it is today. I think the most important part of covering the Silk Road is understanding what exactly it is. That's where my first source comes in, which is Silk Road by John Mark, with the World History Encyclopedia. Mark does a great job of covering and explaining what the Silk Road is and what was traded. A quick list of items that were spread on the Silk Road are silk, obviously, fur, teas, dyes, spices, paper, and horses. My second point of emphasis was the inventions that were spread across the world thanks to the Silk routes. John Major, with Asia Society, goes over this in his piece, Silk Road. Paper was probably the most notable of these inventions, as it quickly advanced the way writing was produced throughout the world. Another way the West was shaped through trade on the Silk Road was fashion. With silk now being readily available for everyone, clothing became much more vibrant and colorful. I found this out through Strawn Reed's Losing Paradise with UNESCO.org. An important thing to remember about the Silk Road was that it was also opened up an easy way for disease to be spread. The bubonic plague was in its prime during this time, and the Silk Road made it much easier to spread. Andrew Lawler with Science.org points this out in how Europe exported the Black Death. It's important to highlight this as it was the biggest flaw of the Silk Road. The West also saw a ton of spiritual and religious growth at this time. People were able to share their faiths with others along these trade routes, and that helped these religions spread. The Silk Road, Crossroads and Encounters of Faith on festival.edu goes into depth about how religions were impacted at this time. Economies were another thing that saw a ton of growth thanks to easy Eurasian trade. I found Lisa Blade's Trade and Political Fragmentation on Silk Roads very intriguing and useful for this. Almost every nation that used the Silk Road saw a direct increase in economic income. It's hard not to mention globalization as well when talking about the Silk Road, so I figured I'd throw it in as well. Massimi Ghosh writes about globalization occurring in the West from Silk Road trade in his piece Silk Road, A Glance at Archaic Globalization. With the West thriving from new access to resources, globalization was imminent. The Silk Road was so important to the West because it opened up new possibilities for countries to live their lives. With new access to materials, people could work more efficiently, wear new styles of clothing, and produce new types of goods. Religion also spread like wildfire and brought new ways of thinking to regions of the world that had never thought that way before. The West would not look the same without the cultural and economical impact that the Silk Road had on it. I personally found this project to be very interesting. I had no idea what kind of an impact a couple of roads could have on the world, but the Silk Roads showed me how impactful that they can be. I definitely won't take any of the little things in history books for granted going forward, now that I can see how something so simple can change the world. My favorite part of this project was learning about all of the ways ideas and items got to be spread. My least favorite part of this project was definitely finding sources that would be helpful in supporting my topic in an educational way. All in all, this project taught me a lot about the Silk Road and just the West in general. I truly found this project interesting and think that I am better off because of it.